Welcome back to the channel and episode 15. This episode I will be visiting Melbu, which is actually just above Lofoten, leaving Bergen, and it's going to be an interesting day because I will actually be taking 3 boats, 2 actually to get close to Fiskeball. I'm useless with these Norwegian names. And there I take just the 3rd boat, which will get me to Melbu. And this one, literally, I come rolling off one ferry, do basically a U-turn at the end, and now I'm waiting for the next ferry. But it gives you an idea how much traffic can actually get on to these boats. Way too many campers and caravans, however. This I believe to be a slightly smaller boat, and that'll continue my journey, hopefully, through a very, very pretty part of the country. This is seriously a lovely part of the country. In fact, Norwegians even talk about it as being a lovely part of the country. And if they give you any advice at all, it's basically to visit Norway above Bergen. And I actually, now having ridden through the entire country, I'm understanding what they mean now. What you're basically seeing in the background is Lofoten, and it's so much quieter where I am. There's basically very little traffic heading to the ferries. You notice that. But otherwise, the roads are really quiet, and I've been warned that once you get to Lofoten, it's a completely different story. It's a tourist place, it's a well-known place, it's a mecca for a lot of people, and you notice it directly. Everybody says the same thing, so I'm thinking, right, okay, I'm going to take my time to enjoy the solitude and the beauty here, and hope that the weather stays with me, because it is changing. The further south I get, with every kilometre, you have the feeling that it's getting more changeable, shall we say. Literally, Lofoten is only 184 kilometres from where I am now. And you do notice that the landscape is getting more rugged. The tunnel's darker. But they are, at least they're lit. It's probably because I'm still basically on a motorway. That's going to change relatively soon. And in this world that we live in, timing is everything. And people say that, do coincidences actually exist? Is there a big plan in life? I don't know. I just decided to stop before getting the boat, and I pulled in because I was just admiring the landscape here to the max. It is so gorgeous. It's so difficult to describe it, and I was thinking to myself, the only way really to describe this is from the air. And I turned around and there was somebody using a drone. So I have a huge shout out to Rick from Adventures in Gold Rush for allowing me to use the footage that he so kindly sent to me, and it makes such a huge difference. You can't explain it, and this is a great way of explaining it. The landscape is so natural and the colours so vivid, and it was just a shame on this day that the sun just wasn't playing game, not at this moment, but I hope you get a really good idea of what we were stood there looking at, because it's so gorgeous. Yes, this looks like they've taken a few tips from the Dutch. It's like in reverse version of the IJsselmeer Dike, which is literally got the sea on one side and the rest of Holland on the other. Only the difference is that the water level on the Dutch side is lower than the water level on the other side. Here it's a slightly different story, which I'm glad to see. However, that's what the Dutch are all about, and water technique is something that they do know an awful lot about. And there we are, Rick to the left next to his car, and me next to my Riker. And so I am so happy that he was, happy to send it to me, basically. What a guy. Big shout out. Yeah, I want to explain a little bit about the boats here and how it works, because I've been asked, do you need to book the boats and all that kind of thing? No, absolutely not. You literally roll up like I'm doing now, and it's a continuation of the road is literally the port. You roll up and you see the markings on the road, and you're literally in the port. It's as simple as that. And depending on whether you've just missed the boat, like I have, which means that it's incredibly empty here, but look at the space they've got. I mean, I can't imagine how many vehicles would actually need to be waiting to fill all these 3 lanes. However, having just missed the boat, I have to wait an hour, but that gives me a chance to sort of have a little rest and chill before the next part of the journey. So there we go. This is the boat I'm waiting for, Fiskeball to Melbu. But what a gorgeous little place. And these are places a lot of people don't see. They'll go to Lofoten, but they don't look any further, you know, and that's when you start to miss stuff. So I'm really glad I've taken the time to do this, because the landscape has been absolutely wonderful. So basically, just because you don't have to book doesn't mean you don't have to pay. You do. I'm on a trike, which is kind of in between a bike and a car, but I was charged as a motorcycle. And what happens is you roll on like this, just like any other ferry, and then once you're parked, or you know they've loaded the boat as they go, they literally walk over to the back of your vehicle and they take a photograph of your number plate. And the number plate, I believe, tells them what category of vehicle you're driving, riding in, lengths and all that kind of thing, and you pay accordingly. That's all done by card, it's all done by machine. And I got a couple of free rides because for one reason or another they didn't have Wi-Fi, or there was a problem with machines. So I got a couple of freebies. All good. You've got to love Norway. Where else is 150 kilometres going to take you 3.5 hours to cover? It's all the boats. They take forever. However, the hotel is right at the end of the ferry port, literally, so no tricks there. And this was reindeer and my humour. I just couldn't resist it. Reindeer meat is absolutely scrummy, by the way. Some interesting info. You might want to pause there and read that. Yeah. And what happened? Woken up in the middle of the night to torrential rain, sounded like hail even. It's probably just the wind direction, but look at the way that the landscape has completely disappeared. Gone are the mountains. And that's the problem with Norway, bad weather, and you just do not see it to its full glory. So waking up to this in the morning just made my heart leap. I wasn't expecting it, and the weather's playing game for me. I can't believe it. It just makes everything so much better. I still don't trust it, but for the moment it's dry, and that's the only thing that's important. Just hoping that it stays that way, especially for tomorrow. So I decided to literally ride around the island. There is a road that literally hugs the coast all the way around, and you can do the whole island in about an hour. So needless to say, I did. Actually a couple of times, because while the weather was playing game, I was taking advantage of it. And it is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. And it's whetting my appetite for Lofoten, but for different reasons. Here I'm getting that peace and tranquility that you just can't describe. The views that you're getting from the road, you know, not having to go any great distances. No, look at that. I think it's a basketball court. However, I had to have a laugh at this. Yeah, me being me, has to get off that road. I wanted to see if I could find a high point, you know, somewhere that I could take a couple of really good shots from. And I think I can only really say that Norway being Norway is like a lot of mountainous places. Basically, the road stops here. And so I can officially say I found the end of the road in Norway. Official. The end of the road is in Norway. Unfortunately, there was a camper in the lay-by, so I am not going to accept that as the official end of the road in any country. There must be a better one. One thing you do notice quite quickly is how the weather changes on one side of the island to the other. However, this is the side of the island with the best views. However, I do make some stops. This little round that I'm making, this little tour. There are a couple of museums here, but just to admire the landscape was worth the stop. Absolutely gorgeous. And I headed back to the hotel to grab some lunch, and it was still good. So I'm thinking, right, okay, I'm going again. So I did. And the nice thing about that, and can we just have a moment of silence for the colour palette here? This is so, look at the sun. See, the sun makes such a difference. I keep saying it, but it does. You know, filming on a cloudy day, it just takes all the detail away. Yes, and I don't know how I managed to get attracted to them. I didn't realise what this museum, it was closed, by the way, I didn't actually get to go in. But that museum houses a cruise liner, a historic cruise liner, which if anybody knows anything about my history, that's quite amusing. Of all the places to stop, and I didn't actually realise that when I turned up, so it's just one of those things, isn't it, of all the places. So I continued. Look how chill he is. And he's actually literally the only person I've seen. So I thought I'd better keep him in film, you know, so people don't think that there's been some kind of zombie attack or something. There is literally nobody. You just don't see anybody. Only at the accommodation, and then it's only now and again. You know, you can literally lose yourself here. It's such a gorgeous place. This is an absolutely lovely ride because it's so quiet. However, if I was coming here, it's fine as a pass-through because you can actually do that as well. There's a road from the other side. I've done it all by boat, but that's because I'm into the adventure. It's quite easy to reach without using a boat. You'd have to go up via the north side, but it's possible to do it. I wouldn't necessarily need to spend a week here. For me, it would be too much. But to enjoy this over a couple of days, fine. I stayed here 2 nights and I am leaving tomorrow. So I just thought I would make the most of it. And it is gorgeous. I just don't get bored with it. You know, every time you look at it with the different sunlight, it changes the view. And because it's tidal, you know, with the water coming and going, it changes the beaches as well, so the views continually change. It's magical. It's absolutely magical. when I see these kind of scenes, I instantly kind of imagine myself living somewhere like this. You know, how could you go wrong? You know, you've got the sea, the mountains, you've got beautiful roads, beautiful rides, and when the sun shines, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you can wish for more, and it's so quiet, you know. However, I've seen videos of people that live in this part of the world where it seriously does just not get light for about 3 months, where there is literally no light. It's like at night time, dark night for months. I couldn't cope with that. I just couldn't. You know, you think you can, but I couldn't. No. There's nothing better than coming out of work or whatever and the sun is shining. The idea, I mean, you know, we do now, don't we? You go to work in the morning and it's dark, and you come home in the evening and it's dark, and you work inside. But usually you have windows, you've got daylight, you can see out, and you can get out in your lunch break and it's light. Here, that doesn't happen. It's still dark. It's dark all the time. It's like you're working a night shift for 3 months. That's weird. That's just weird. I couldn't get my head around that. And as beautiful as it is, I just can't imagine that. Everything covered in snow, freezing cold and dark. No. There are other places in the world I think I would prefer to live. And I suppose that's what's making it so special. The fact that this is an area I would probably otherwise never get to see. And then to get the sun on top makes the privilege extra special. And now, with it being a little bit later in the afternoon, I'm getting an awesome light. The way the colours are popping, and my favourite pink flowers there. Look at the light. How could I ask for more? It's that kind of light that photographers dream of in the golden hour. It just makes the colours warm, and I mean, for the film and everything, I'm not using any kind of filters. Yeah. Is it just me? If you look at the sky now, that cloud formation there, is it Sylvester the cat I'm looking at? I can't. I mean, what makes something like that? Why is that like that? That's just like a flower. No, I'm still seeing Sylvester. This was another little, a nice little stop point. It was actually like a ceramic place. You could get coffee there. It was lovely. I want to do another shout out before I say anything else. Just in case you haven't subscribed, you should have done that already. But I want to do another shout out to Rick. Because I'm about to let you see the full footage, which I don't normally do. So just enjoy, and I'll see you next time.